Yesterday we finished Tefillin at Tzitzis. Today we'll start Tefillin. Okay, Tefillin is a very, very precious mitzvah. The whole Torah is likened to Tefillin because are you leaving?
Yeah, I have to go.
Ooh. Okay, but Jimmy can't, okay.
Jimmy's here, so one more.
Okay. The pasuk says, "L'mantia Torahs Hashem beficha." In the parsha of Tefillin, it says the Torah of Hashem should be in your mouth in reference to Tefillin. So you see that Tefillin is likened to the whole Torah, and therefore it says in the Gemara, a person who doesn't put on Tefillin is considered a rebellious Jew with his body. And what's worse than that is, what's worse than the guy not putting on Tefillin is putting on non-kosher Tefillin. Because if you put on non-kosher tefillin, number one, you're not wearing tefillin, because they're not kosher. But secondly, you're also making all those brachas in vain. You're making all the brachas in vain that you would be... No, there's a 10th guy. Okay, so therefore it says like this. Therefore, when you buy tefillin, you shouldn't be cheap. You should buy tefillin, proper tefillin, from a person who's Yirei Shemayim, God-fearing person, that you rely on him, that you know he did it correctly and had the proper intent, and wrote it according to Halachos. The same thing, the straps, okay, today you buy a package deal, but the straps also have to be made. There was a scandal not long ago that a lot of the tefillin straps, which have to be leather, were made out of plastic. It was an imitation leather made out of plastic. So those straps, those are the tzuas, are not kosher. It has to be from leather. So a person has to be certain that secondly, if you have a real cheap pair of tefillin, the assumption is they can't be too kosher. Why? If you just think about the tefillin itself, yeah? There's 4 parshias in the hand, there's 4 paragraphs in the head. Right? Now, it takes a guy hours and hours to write them. Then you have the boxes. The boxes have to be made to perfection. They have to be exactly perfectly square. They have to be made out of leather. And the head tefillin has these 4 compartments inside. And so besides the parchment is expensive, the boxes are expensive, the straps are expensive, and the writing, it takes the guy days and days to write a proper pair of tefillin. So then, just think about what's the price. What do you have to pay for that? It can't be $100. I mean, just the leather itself is worth more than $100. And then you have the parchment. Then you have the guy's time writing it. I mean, people have to make a living.
Also, the guy that's making the boxes.
Everything, it has to be. So therefore, it says, what? Therefore it says a person should be careful to buy a good pair of tefillin, and the tefillin should be on the person. Now, let me explain another thing. We wear tefillin during davening, shachris. The truth is, tefillin and davening are 2 separate mitzvahs. They have nothing to do with each other. I can't say nothing to do with each other, but really it's 2 separate mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah of wearing tefillin, putting on tefillin even for a second. You put on tefillin, you already did the mitzvah. The custom is to read the Shema. But I'm saying technically the guy just puts on tefillin, puts them on, takes them off, he did the mitzvah of tefillin. Now, why do we do it by davening? Because davening, we're connecting to Hashem, and tefillin is binding the mind and the heart to God, so it's appropriate to do it during davening, during shachris. But the truth of the matter is, the time for tefillin is an entire day. If somebody doesn't put on, I'm not talking about shachris have to do in the morning. But if somebody needs to put on tefillin, you can put on tefillin a whole day, from sunrise to sundown. A person could be yetzer the mitzvah of tefillin. And in fact, the head tefillin and the hand tefillin are also 2 separate mitzvahs. In other words, what happens if for whatever reason it is, somebody cannot put on the hand tefillin? So, God forbid they don't have a hand, an arm, or it's all casted up, whatever the reason is. You can't put on tefillin on the hand. You still put tefillin on the head because it's a separate mitzvah. It's not like lulav and esrog that if you're missing one of the 4, you can't do the mitzvah.
We got a problem if you cannot put on the head.
In fact, a kid once went into bar mitzvah. He used to go into yechidus, and they would tell the Rebbe a little pilpul. So this kid's pilpul, his bar mitzvah was, what happens if a guy doesn't have a hand? What does he do with tefillin? And the Rebbe used to stop the kids and ask a question, sometimes with a smile. So the Rebbe asked the guy, and what happened? The kid, what happens if the guy doesn't have a head? What do you do then? But there is an interesting story in the Gemara that one of the Amiroim asked the question, if somebody has two heads, how many head tefillin does he put on? So they threw him out of the Beis Medrash for asking such a ridiculous question. So Hashem accepted the honor of the person. Hashem stood up for his honor. So Hashem sent Eliyahu Navi, just as a person, with a shaila in the Beis Medrash. What was his question? My wife just gave birth to a two-headed baby. How many pidyon abens do I need to make? How many redemption of the firstborn? One or two? So the Beis Medrash, the Rabbanim saw, then such a case exists already. So now we have to start thinking about his tefillin. So then they let the guy back into the Beis Medrash. But really it's two separate mitzvahs. There's one.
If the guy has a head injury and they have it all cut, they're not cut,
A bandage.
so then it's an F6, so it's not mistake. No?
Right. If there's a separation between the tefillin and the head, so sometimes they'll tell you just put it on anyway without a bracha. But halachically, there can't be any separation between the boxes and the skin. On the hand, there can't be any like bandages or casts or anything. Same thing on the head. Can't have a bandage or a turban. It has to be directly on the head. What?
By Lulav and Esig, so once you put them together, you did the mitzvah, you can't make a bracha.
Correct.
Whereas if you go to the bathroom and you're putting your tefillin back on right before Shulchan, so you put it on, then you make the bracha after Shulchan.
No.
When you already put on the tefillin, you already did the mitzvah, so how can you make a bracha?
Why are you asking a question from lulav to tefillin? Why don't you ask a question from lulav to sukkah? If somebody sat in a sukkah, okay, and they did make a bracha leisha basukkah, and now they finished the meal, does he make a leisha basukkah? Yeah, in Shulchan Aruch it says you make a leisha basukkah. Just sit a few more minutes in the sukkah. The mitzvah of tefillin is when you wear them, you're getting the mitzvah. In fact, there's an interesting Rogatchover that the Rebbe quotes. The Rogatchover differentiates between the hand tefillin and the head tefillin. If you look at the pasuk carefully, what does the pasuk say? Tie him for a sign on your hand. Tie them for a sign on your hand, and they should be a sign between your head. Okay? It doesn't say put them on your head. So the Rogatchover learns, what's the Torah saying? Putting it on the hand, the mitzvah is putting it on. That's what the Torah says. Tie him for a sign on your head. I mean, put him on. That's the mitzvah. By tefillin, by the head tefillin doesn't say put him on. It said they should be a sign. So according to Rogatchover, he learns that the head tefillin, whenever you're wearing them, you're getting a mitzvah. The hand tefillin, you put it on, that's when you get the mitzvah. But the head tefillin, you're continuously getting a mitzvah as long as you're wearing it.
So why is the bracha on the hand for?
No, the bracha is on the hand, but it also goes on the head.
Why is that?
Because you can make basically one bracha for two, even though it's a separate mitzvah, and therefore many people, as we know, make a separate bracha al mitzvahs tefillin on the head, correct? But the truth is, according to those opinions, on the head tefillin you're supposed to make two brachas. Al aniach tefillin and al mitzvahs tefillin. The hand, why are you not allowed to talk between the hand tefillin and the head tefillin? Because the bracha that you made on the hand tefillin is going for the head tefillin. So therefore, if you're going to talk things not pertaining to tefillin, then you made a separation. So you have to make a bracha. But the minhag is that when you talk and make a separation not relevant to tefillin, so then the din is, just make the bracha on mitzvahs tefillin.
So some people do it even if they don't talk in the conversation.
Right. A lot of people, the Litvish world makes a separate bracha on mitzvahs. What?
Between Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam.
Between Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, the minig is not that you don't talk, it's that you try to put it on as soon as possible, that the bracha of Rashi's also goes on the
So
tefillin.
why shouldn't we have the same rule there?
Because it's too hard not to talk. That means for the time you put on Rashi's tefillin until you finish putting on Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin, you shouldn't talk. By the way, you know when people put on tefillin, so they wrap it here and then they don't do the fingers yet. Right? And then they put on the head tefillin, and then they do the fingers. Right? They wrap it around the fingers. Why is that? For the same reason we just said. Because the hand bracha goes for the head. Right? Now. So,
Finish the hand.
there's part of the mitzvah of tefillin is the box here. It's also partial mitzvah, the straps around the head, 7 times around the hand. Yeah? But the fingers is just a custom. So therefore, to minimize the space between hand bracha and putting on the head, we don't do the fingers because that's not part of the prime mitzvah. Instead, but the 7, that's really more part of the mitzvah. But since Vilna Gaon Lamoshel maintained that even the 7 times it's only a minig, so he maintained, you put on the box, you tighten it, and then right away you put on the head tefillin. Right away you put on the head tefillin, there shouldn't be any hefsek whatsoever between the hand bracha and the head tefillin. But that's why a person puts them on that way, that they should be, right away, the bracha should be part of the original bracha should go for the hand and the head. If somebody talked things pertaining to tefillin, then you don't have to make a new bracha. Huh? And then you have to make a new bracha.
Even those who don't have to make another bracha, they say Baruch Shem.
The custom is to say Baruch Shem, because there's a machlekes. If you have to make a second bracha on the head, so they rule that you have to make a second bracha on the head, but they'll say Baruch Shem, according to those, the same thing those that put on Tefillin Chol Hamoed. If they make a bracha, they also say Baruch Shem, because there's a lot of opinions that say you don't have to make a bracha.
They make a bracha levatala and they say Baruch Shem.
They paskin that you have to make a bracha. So it's not Safi Brachas Lahokal. If you paskin you have to make a bracha, you have to make a bracha. Huh?
They still say Baruch Shem.
They still say Baruch Shem. Okay, what happened? I didn't know this guy was leaving. That guy also left. Yeah?
Still at 5 minutes, somebody gonna come.
Hopefully somebody will come. Okay, now, it's another interesting thing with tefillin. We said the straps have to be leather. They have to be worked over for the sake of tefillin. The shema. Okay, so you can't have a guy making the straps of the tefillin because a guy is not shaykh to make straps of tefillin lishma for the sake of tefillin. But the tefillin straps being black is more important than the boxes being black. In other words, the ritzua of the tefillin, the strap of the tefillin, halacha Moshe Sinai, must be black.
No.
Therefore, sometimes the paint chips off a little bit, and it's white. You have to paint it over. This that the boxes of the tefillin are black is just noy mitzvah because it looks nicer. So the ritzua is being black is more important than the boxes of the tefillin to be black. But you have to make sure they have to be square, and there's a lot of dinim. If the ritzua rips or the corners of the tefillin got, what?
So you have them on, you have the pencil on. If they flip over, you have to get slapped or...
No. First of all, that doesn't apply to the straps hanging down. It says in Shulchan that doesn't matter if the straps that hang down flip a little bit. It refers to the actual straps that are on the head. You know what I mean? On the head or on the hand. Gemara says that after brings on, he gets a tshuva. Ravuna, the tefillin strap, he fasted 40 fasts.
Yeah, but it was like the...
Yeah, not the actual, the part that comes down. No. But also, even with that, there's a tons of stuff. I mean, we're just starting, but if you ever notice that the straps that come down, so first of all, there's a whole argument in halacha, how far do they have to come down? How far should they come down? Some opinions say until the belly. Some people say until the feet. And if you notice, until the legs, until the feet. Other raglayim. And another interesting thing, if you notice, people don't realize it because they just, the right side is longer than the left side.
Yeah.
You make the right, that's all halacha, Kabbalah, that the right side should be longer than the left side. So therefore, that's the way it has to be.
Why is
So
it?
the machlok
What?
goes all the way to the.
Why is the right leg longer? Right side longer?
First of all, right is more choshev than left. But the minig is even a left-handed person, that's also longer than the left.
Gargles should be longer on the right side too?
No, those should be even.
Yeah,
Try to make
it's
them
all
even.
about plastic. So basically, the machloket, if it has to go to the floor or to the belly button, you do when you continue, it's going to the floor, and then later on, it's going to the belly.
Yeah, when you.
The black straps going through the hitter. So it shouldn't.
Some say yes, some say no, because then it's easier to turn over. You won't know the difference than if it's black and not so black.
But then if it fades, at least it's still going to be black.
Huh?
But then if it fades, it's still going to be black if it's black through and through.
Yeah, but then you'll fix it. No, the other side doesn't. No. Those that have both sides black, what's the advantage of it? If what chips? The back side chips, it doesn't matter.
Oh, the front side chips and it's still black all the way through. No,
No, that's not true.
it's not.
No. If the front chips, you have to fix the front.
So what's the hitter of it being all black?
I asked the ones that say it's a hitter.
We don't hold that.
What?
How do you know if the straps are leather or is like plastic?
Um,
How would you know?
that's why the best thing is buy tefillin from an honest guy, so then you know it's leather. There's ways of testing it. I mean, we assume that they're all made out of leather.
People know.
Yeah, but sometimes there's such good fake plastics. You know, you have jewelry today, custom jewelry, fake jewelry that looks so good. You need a professional
Yeah,
eye.
but it costs more expensive than the real one, so that's why you make it.
No, I'm saying you have to, you have to be.
So Hasidic, you think they're rabbi?
That's also
Some
good.
of them feel